Welcome to my channel, everyone. My name is Camille, your realtor friend here in North Carolina. And today we are going to be discussing how you can actually build your business by your sphere of influence using the DTD2 plan as well as Forward. Both of these methods are extremely strategic, and in this video, I'll be showing you and guiding you how to actually have conversations with the people in your network, the people you know, without it feeling super awkward. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in. Trust me, I've been where you are before, feeling super icky about calling my database because I'm so caught up in my head and feel like, oh, I'm only calling them to get business, or you're just not knowing exactly what to say. Maybe it's been a while since you spoke with someone and you're just like, how do I call them out of nowhere to talk about real estate? Well, in this video, we are definitely going to help you out. I'm going to give you some inspiration and teach you how you can change your mindset so that you can actually generate more business from the people in your circle. Before we dive into the meat of things, I think that it's extremely important to know that most people are not thinking about us. And a lot of times we can have these preconceived thoughts in our heads that are not even true. And most times we're thinking about ourselves rather than focusing our attention on other people. So the first thing that I would say to get out of your nerves, get out of that nervousness, those feelings of anxiety, is to remove yourself from the equation and really think about the other person. Have a genuine interest in the other person besides just yourself and what you can get from them. Come from value. So what does it mean to have a genuine interest in the other person? I'm sure if they're in your circle or if you have their phone number, at one point you had or shared the same interests, or you truly were interested in them as a person. So I would say come from genuine curiosity, always ask questions, about their life, what they have going on, their goals, how you can help, and it will relieve that pressure if you're literally and genuinely just calling to check on them. People love to be checked up on. Most people that I know and speak with maybe have 1 to 2 close friends, maybe a grandmother, maybe a mom, a dad, who they speak with on a routine basis. And it's not very often that they are getting check-in calls from other people that are in their space. Most often, if you are a millennial or Gen X or what have you, most people are moving their lives to social media and they're seeing all of the things that are going on social media to stay connected with people. But it's very rare that people actually pick up the phone and call somebody. So when they do receive a call, most times if you're coming from a genuine place, they're going to be really surprised and really happy that you actually called them. So I would start there, just having a genuine interest in people, calling to truly check up on them, see how they've been, what they're up to, and ways that you can just contribute value to their life. The next thing that I would encourage you to do is actually focus on building relationships and not making it like a super transactional conversation. By having a genuine interest in people, you have the ability to truly build a solid relationship with people, especially using the system that I'm going to teach you about in this video. If you're with Keller Williams, then you probably already heard of this system, or if you've been in the real estate industry for some time, you've probably also heard of this system but never used it effectively or efficiently and consistently. And so this video really is to inspire you to get back to getting on the phone, to calling people. Back in the days we had house phones. We literally had to call people. There was no texting, very little social media, and it was a good time. We would all stay on phone for hours and it was great. So we have to get back to that. After you've gotten over your nerves and gotten over yourselves and literally called someone who is in your past to check in, like a genuine check-in, maybe you've seen something on social media that you liked, that you commented on, have that be a starting place of, hey, I seen that you recently had a new baby. Congratulations. It's been a while since we last spoke. How was the pregnancy? You literally can start with what you're seeing on social media as a point to start conversations. If you're lost for words, you don't know what to say, but the people you're calling, I do feel as though you should have a genuine interest in them, especially if you have their phone number. So let's dive into what is sphere of influence. Sphere of influence? Some of you may have heard this. Well, I'm going to give you a few examples of who your sphere of influence might be. And as I'm giving you these examples, I want you to pause the video right now, get a notebook, maybe your iPad, jot down some notes, start thinking of people that is in your world, whether it be on social media, or whether you actually have their telephone number, or maybe you're meeting up with them in person but you don't have their contact information. Be thinking of the people that you can reach out to. So people who are in your sphere of influence, I've already mentioned this in this video, is people who know you. If they heard your name, then they'd be like, I know who that is. They like you as a person. You may not be besties, but they definitely like you as a person. You've held conversations with them before, and it's been pretty general positive conversations, and they trust you. They've seen you, grow up, like they trust you. So people who fall in this category can be people like family, friends. Maybe, it was people you grew up with. They weren't necessarily family, but they were friends of the family. They came to all of the family gatherings, all of the family cookouts, game nights, whatever. Your actual family, cousins, uncles, aunties, grandparents, these can be your childhood teachers or college professors. Some of us develop really close relationships with teachers. We may have the one or two teachers that we really, really like growing up, or those handful of professors. These can be mentors, your old sports coaches, if you were on cheerleading and dance and tennis and all the things, golf. These can be the people that you played those sports with. It could be people from your church community. If you go to a certain car wash, family restaurants that, this is my restaurant, this is where I get coffee. These people see you very frequently. It could be those people. If you go to the dentist, doctor, and you've had a long-standing relationship with those professionals who are providing you services, your hair care, nail care, eyelash tech, who do you go to get a pedicure? It's all of these people. And something important to note about this is that it pays when you are consistent and loyal with one person versus, you getting manicures and pedicures with a new spot every single month. It pays when you can actually build relationships with people who you can call on. Maybe you're floating between one or two, and they begin to know you, like you, trust you. In regards to your house, it can be, who do you call on if you need a paint job? Who do you call for your roofing? Who do you call if you're having plumbing issues? For your car, who do you call when you have maintenance issues? A lot of times we go to these big box organizations, I won't name car dealerships, wherever we get our oil, but sometimes there's mom and pop shops that we have developed relationships with. If it's something minor that is going on to our car, that we can literally pick up the phone. They know who we are. We're a long-term customer. And so I would say sometimes it is easier to build those relationships with mom and pop or smaller businesses when it comes to getting services. However, that's not to say that at big box restaurants, say for example, you love Cracker Barrel, well maybe there's, 3 servers who have been working at that specific Cracker Barrel that you visit for literally 20 years. So people like that would be in your sphere of influence because you love the restaurant so much. Maybe you eat there every Sunday and you're always seeing those servers, or you're always seeing those bartenders. All of those people would be considered to be your sphere of influence because these people, they know you, they know your name, they like you, you have great conversations when you are speaking with them, and then they trust you. You haven't given them any, reason not to trust you. So the list of sphere of influence and the categories could literally go on, and I'm not going to bore you with all of the different categories, but I trust that you get my gist. If you would like a copy of people who would fall in your sphere of influence to help you come up with your top 100 list of people who are in your sphere of influence, comment below sphere of influence within this video, and I will send you, me personally, and email you a list of people that would happen to fall in your sphere of influence. Comment sphere of influence if you want to receive a one-page list of all the categories that you should be thinking about for your sphere of influence. And this can be if you're a real estate agent or honestly a business professional in general. You definitely want to start with your top 100 of people that you can consistently network with, speak with, have conversation with on a routine basis to build your business. This is not just for real estate. This literally can be used in any industry where you are selling a product or selling a service. You may be asking yourself, why sphere of influence? Why is there so much focus on this? Well, sphere of influence is really like the low-hanging fruit. It's easier to convert these people because you've already established a relationship with them over people who literally do not know you and you're cold calling them. These people also tend to refer you to other people, family members, friends, colleagues who may have a need for buying and selling in the future. And so this is a great way to generate business for yourself that is low cost, where all you do is literally keep up with them, literally call them, check in on them, text them, and just stay in consistent community with these people. It's also important to note that because they are your sphere of influence, anytime you set a consultation with them for buying and selling, typically speaking, your conversion rates will be a lot higher. So say for example, you meet with 10 people that week for buying and selling from your sphere of influence, you may be able to convert 8 of those people and get them signed up. Whereas you may meet with 10 people who don't know you, like you, trust you, maybe it's for sale by owners, you may be able to convert 50% of those people because the trust factor is not present. It's not there. They don't know you. It's a way, honestly speaking, for you to work smarter and not harder and have fun by doing your job, because obviously if they're in your sphere, you must also like them too, and the conversations become a lot more easy and it's so much more fun, and it can make you a ton of money. Also, when it comes to sphere of influence, one of the major benefits, especially if you're on a team, is a lot of times your team splits will be higher when you close someone with your sphere of influence versus a team lead, which means a bigger commission check for you. What do you say when you call them then? What exactly do you say? Maybe you're new to real estate, or maybe it's been a while since you actually picked up the phone and called them. One of the places that I mentioned earlier is that I would start with what you're seeing on social media. If they're active on social media, perhaps you've seen that they just got a new promotion at work. So you'll literally pick up the phone right then and there as you're looking at it, or maybe make a little note on their contact within your CRM system to say, they just got recently promoted, you've seen it on Facebook, they'll be starting in a week. So one of the things or touch points that you can do first is just pick up the phone, give them a call. Hey girl, see you recently got a promotion at work. I know it's been a while since we last spoke, but I'm so proud of everything that you're doing. I always knew that you were going to kill it. Like, how are you feeling about starting this new job? What made you leave your last job? What are you looking forward to? Are you looking to do this forever, or can you see yourself doing something different? Like, you can get into all of that, but you can also get into what we call forward. So that could be like your icebreaker of how you begin the conversation, but you can go into what we call forward, which speaks about family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. So when we talk about family, you might then pivot the conversation to, by the way, how are your kids doing? How old are they now? What are they into? Things like that, asking about their family, especially if you know their family or have a relationship with family, or maybe it is your family. So you'll ask about that, maybe ask about, when they're coming to the next family reunion, like we got to get up, let's take a trip, maybe set up, some time for y'all to get together. Next, you'll talk about occupation. Oddly enough, that was the Facebook post, but you'll talk about occupation and, again, where do they see themselves, and networking, things like that. Recreation, maybe what trips they have coming up, or depending on what you're into, which is something that I've been definitely wanting to incorporate, is getting people together for dance, because I love dance. It's a good time and I get to see my people. So whatever you're interested in, my husband, he loves fishing. So I'm like, invite more men to go fish, because you already love that. It's something that you already enjoy doing. You get to do something you love while spending time with people that you actually care about and wish to build a relationship with. And then dreams, like, what are your future goals? Like, are you looking to own your own business one day? Like, what are you looking to do? And then naturally speaking, sometimes they'll naturally, because you've asked about their job, they know you're a real estate agent or just got into real estate agent, or maybe they'll ask you what you do. That is the time where you can bring up real estate and ask if they have any real estate related questions that you can answer, or you can invite them to your upcoming home buyers webinar that you have coming up at the end of the month. Or you can invite them to your open house that you're doing this weekend. Ask them if they've ever thought about, with the new promotion, have they ever thought about upsizing or buying their new home, or selling their current home and buying a new one. It's an easier way for you to be able to naturally slip in those real estate questions and make it a real estate conversation when you're just literally asking them about themselves. And that is using the Ford technique, the Ford method, which is family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Again, this is not just for real estate. This can be used for actually building relationships with people in your life and building your sales business, or if you have other products and you kind of want to slide that in, it can be done there. But I do think it's important to know that you should have a genuine interest in what they have going on and be able to write notes on what they told you, so that the next time you call them, you have something to go off of. So, yeah. Next, I want to get into the DTD2 system, which will be used in tandem with Ford. So the DTD2 system is basically a systematic way that you are able to reach out to everyone in your database, right? In your CRM system at least 4 times a year, so once per quarter. And you will literally speak to everybody in your database, as long as you have them in your CRM system, which is your customer relationship management system, is a way that you can speak with these people at least 4 times a year by calling and focusing on 2 letters out of the alphabet every single week. So I believe this week that I'm making this video, the 2 letters is A and W. And in my personal database, I have about 20 contacts whose names begin with the letter A and the letter W. So this week, I've been focused on reaching out to people that fall within that A and W category just to make connection, and also so it doesn't feel overwhelming. If you know 200 people, chances are you aren't going to want to call all 200 people that one week, because when you are having conversations with people who you know, like, and trust you, quite honestly, those conversations can get to be quite lengthy. So with my example, with me having 20 people in my database with A and W, whose name begin with A and W, I would probably break that up, right, to 4 to 5 contacts per day and just give them a call, touch base with them, make connection with them, write down my notes, and then we'll repeat it come next quarter. So it's a way that you can actually stay in contact with everyone. And again, this is not just real estate related, but if you've been struggling to find the time to actually make meaningful connections in your world, maybe you are aspiring to be a real estate agent one day and you've landed on this video, you can actually start now by literally just picking up the phone, starting with those people who are in your contacts for your iPhone or your Android, and calling those people today. I also have a copy of what that looks like. My copy actually also includes texting 1 letter that week as well, so that you would have text those people to at least 4 times that year. So if you want, I can share this PDF document with you. Just comment DTD2 down below, DTD2 down below, DTD2 down below. And I will send you over the PDF file for you to actually make contact with your family members, your friends, people who know you in a systematic way. And then once you actually call them, you'll use what we just spoke about, which is the Ford method to make conversation, or you will do an icebreaker based on what you've seen off of social media recently. Many of you, you don't operate off of a calendar, you don't have a schedule. So one thing that I would say is to add it to your calendar when you plan to make your calls. Maybe it's evenings, when you're picking up the kids or you're driving home from work. Time block that, maybe it's 5 p.m. every day, 6 p.m. every day. You literally just make your calls for the hour that you're in traffic, and you already have these people in your phone, so you're just going down the list. And it's a super easy way to have conversations with your people and conversations about real estate. One of the things that I like to do right now, my CRM system is KW Command, which is the CRM system that Keller Williams provides its agents. But what I have done with my database is I have created tags. So for all people who has a name that begins with the letter A, I have tagged those people with letter A. And then for all of my W people, I have tagged those people whose names begin with the letter W, letter W. And so when I'm doing my filters for my contacts, I'm extracting from everyone in my database, and I've cleaned up my database tremendously. I only have people in there that I genuinely want to have a conversation with. Instead of just putting everybody in there, I only put people in there that I genuinely want to stay in relationship with, because it's super painful to go through that system if you have people on there that you could care less about, or where y'all just maybe fell off, or the relationship is just not there. I will not put those people in my database. I just won't do it, because I want to be excited about making the calls, making the connections, and keeping those relationships. So with that being said, I will extract letter A, letter W from my contacts, and then that is how I knew that 20 people fell within those letters and that I needed to make contact with them. Once I actually call them, I will update my activities to make that I actually did give them a phone call and what the result was. Maybe I left a voicemail, maybe we actually talked, and maybe we actually got somewhere to where I was able to update their contact profile, update their mailing address, whatever the case may be. Maybe they will be attending my upcoming home buyer webinar at the end of the month. So I just make a little bit of notes for each contact after our conversation. And then if you're on the road, you can just do it from your iPhone or create a voice memo so that you're not forgetting important details that they have shared with you. So that's how I do it. You can do something similar. Maybe you don't have a CRM system. I don't know your situation, but the old-fashioned way would just be to look at all the people in your phone book who begins with that letter A and W, and then just create an Excel sheet, make some notes, keep it moving. So you don't have to have this robust CRM system. I don't want that to be what stops you from actually making the phone calls. That concludes this video. Thank you for your time and attention to this video as it relates to building your database, getting opportunities, and getting business from your database. You never know out of all of these people who is going to have a real estate need. There is some crazy statistic that you will generate at least one opportunity from like every 7 to 10 people in your database. So if you have 100 people in your database, if you systematically keep in contact with all 100 people in your database, it is very likely that you receive at minimum 7 different opportunities for real estate from your database. So it may not be the person themselves, but they may know a friend, a family member, a coworker who has talked about real estate, and because you've kept in contact with them, they will share your name. So again, it may not always be the people in your database, but it could be somebody that they know. So that's why it's so important to keep up with the people who know you, like you, trust you in a systematic way. Again, if you want a copy of all of the places that you should be searching for your sphere of influence and all of the different categories and people to sort of jot down your top 100, comment sphere of influence. And then if you would like a PDF copy of the DTD2 plan that I am following for 2025, along with that text message factor, comment DTD2. I'll be happy to get that over to you. And until next time, I love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you for your support, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.